Alright, today's job, we're going to be replacing this K-body, high-low pressure control, filter dryer, all three fans. This one bearing's gone. These two are leaking oil pretty bad. And another heater, as you can see, burned off right at the hub here. I think they're 115. These could be either or, so you definitely got to check them. 115 or 208, even though it's a 208 230 unit. They put a neutral leg in some of these units, so you got to double check that. So that's what we're going to be doing today. This pretty much burned out the compressor, the heaters, and you can see these fans were overheating. If you look at the paint right there, it's all chipped up. So we're going to rebuild this whole capsule, and the reason why it's down on the floor is because you got less than an inch from the top to the bottom when this capsule is on the top of this freezer. This is a low temp freezer, condensate pan, and time clock. I know last year we replaced this, so I know that's good. Shouldn't have to replace that. It's a newer time clock, and we'll take you through it. Alright guys, so we got the fans out, and all you do is you have one screw on the bottom top, and you take that whole bracket out. Alright, and again we got the heaters out. Heaters are 115 volt. So, and then you got your top screws and bottom screws. Take it out as a unit, and then you got your screw here, screw on the bottom. You can leave your screw on the bottom, take the top screw off, and that whole bracket slides right out. So we got the heaters out, got the fan bracket out. Now we're going to start on removing this, which is just 4.5 inch nuts on the bottom here, and then take your pecker head off, cover, and undo all the wires. Alright guys, so got all the wires undone top of the pecker head here on the K body. Getting all these nuts off. There's 4 on all 4 sides. New heaters are set in. We got to pull them through the hole there. So this there's oil everywhere on this, so it was a major leak. That's probably why it burned out. Maybe the high-low pressure control didn't even work. So it's oil everywhere. Nothing in there. So, and these blue filter dryer combo sight glass, these usually leaked here. So, and again, whenever you put a new compressor in, you guys notice, replace that filter dryer. We got new start components, and the manufacturer wants you to replace the relay here also. So it's a 125. So we're going to keep going, get this off, get these connectors all pulled off, go from there. Alright, K-body's out. Manufacturer wants you to put the plugs back in, high, or actually low, high side. Put the top on to exchange the core. I think you get $75 for the core. Now we're just going to clean this area up, cut this filter dryer off, and then put a new filter dryer. Clean, make sure you clean both gaskets up, sand these, clean them, blow them out with nitrogen. So we'll go through the wires back to the pecker head when we get to that point. I'm going to take the wire harness off the high-low pressure control. Pop these two screws out. This is going to go on the new compressor. Got to take those two screws out and remount this bracket. Here's a new pressure control. It is a manual reset, and the reason why we choose manual reset is because if there's really an issue, it'll keep the compressor off, and then we'll get the call to come out. If not, this thing will keep short cycling off and on until the compressor burns out. So it's a good idea to get the manual reset. And this is high-low pressure control, so we're going to use these to go right back in to the high-low side on the K-body compressor. And that compressor is we're going to go with the 1-horse low-temp compressor 404A. We're going to put forks on for the new pressure control. And then before you put that on, putting your connectors right onto the side, low and high side of the K-body compressor, to accept the compression fittings for the pressure control switch. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go straight up. That's that. Put the whip back on. Don't be lazy. Put a couple forks on so that it makes complete contact. And then clean this up. This is ready to go. Alright guys, so we're going to take these two screws out for the bracket. I'm just using a 1/4-inch drive, and I can basically break these two nuts with this. I don't know the specific torque, but tight is tight and too tight is broke. I mean, that's all I can tell you. I would have to call the manufacturer and get the specs on the torque, but we've never had a problem doing it this way because it's only the two. Now, if I was taking all these off, yes, that's probably pretty critical, but just doing the two bottom nuts isn't. Alright, so our bracket's on. We're going to attach our high side and going to use nylon on the threads here. Not Loctite. Loctite we use going into the compressor. So again, we're just going to use the nylog right on the threads, and that's pretty much it. So that's, you want to have all this on before you throw it back on, makes things a lot easier. We decided to change the 50-watt condenser motor too, since it's going to be in a spot where we're not going to be able to get it. Looks pretty old, it's dusty, so we're going to go the extra step and replace that 50-watt fan motor too, because we're not going to be climbing up there to do it. So it's just 4 screws on either side, and they'll come right off, and then 1/4-inch screws on the top. Alright guys, so once again, while everything's down and open up, we're going to blow this condenser out. And again, just be careful. We got a smoke detector right there, so trying to direct everything out that way. Alright, so the pressure's back on the capsule. Just put the gaskets on. Tighten both sides up here. All the nuts are on. You can check it. It's supposed to move. Have a little spring to it for vibration purposes. New 50-watt motor. Fan actually looks brand new since it's been cleaned. Again, that worked, but we replaced it because we're not going to have access to it. So let's just do it now while we got it down. New heaters. Everything's tied up nice and tight, so we're good with them. Just make sure these are flat to the evap. Now we're going to head over. New dryer filters on. So we're going to replace these 3 with the EC5414E motors. And again, these are dual voltage, 115, 230. Rotation is reversible. And you could either go with the 1550 or 1650 RPM. Alright, so when a customer asks, why are you changing the motor that's still running and you see it leaking oil, that's why. I mean, the hubs just came right off. They're pretty bad. And that's why you change them out. Alright, gang, so now we're to the wiring. So it's, I guess to some people it's pretty simple, but your yellow is going to be your start, so that's going to go here. Only needs to go on one screw. Okay, your common from your start components is going to go on your common right there. Okay, and then of course your red is your run. Your run's right here, so you're going to tie your other line coming in high voltage. So both of those will be tied into that, and one side of the condenser fan, you can pick any side, it doesn't matter, it's going to go right there. Now your power is going to go right here, along with a switch leg from your high-low pressure control, and then we'll tie them together on the last screw, which doesn't, it's just a tie down for all your wires. That screw, the last screw in the back here, doesn't go to anything, doesn't go to common, run, or start. So you could either put them on that, or you could wire nut your wires together. It'll work the same way. So it's pretty simple. You know, you got your two lines coming right here for your high-low pressure control, and these are make or break. So power is going to come through one, go through the pressure control, and when that opens, it's going to stop power from coming back out onto this line. So there's where you got to make your break. So you want to hook your compressor leg and your fan leg up to this to let you know that something is wrong, and especially the compressor, so you know that it saves the compressor when it's either too high, gets too hot in the building, or if it has a leak like this one had, you want this compressor to shut off. Alright, so that's how it's going to work. I'll get it wired in. It's pretty easy, like I said. Here goes your start, your run, your common, and this is your screw that you're going to tie your power, one of your legs to your high-low pressure control, one of your fan legs into, and then you could use this if you want, if you need to, or if you want to use wire nuts. Either or works. Alright, so we're going to wire that up. Alright, so there goes your common, your start, which is the yellow. So your start's going to go on line 3, which is your start. Okay. Your common from your start components is going to go right here on your common. No, it's a lot of wires and it's hard to see, but it's pretty simple. All your reds are your run, with the exception of one black, which is your fan leg to the condenser fan. Okay? So then you're going to have your condenser fan and one leg from your low-high pressure control on your common here. Okay? And then, like I said, this screw back here, you got two left, which is the other leg, make or break, on your pressure control. Okay, and this one right here is your power. So you could either wire nut these or put them on that last screw that goes to nothing, and power is going to come through, prove the pressure switch high and low, come in, turn everything on. So pretty simple. It's the way it works. I'm going to use that third screw down here, which goes to nothing. It's just like putting a wire nut on, like I said, and that's it. So they're going to go in there. Alright, so we're pulling a vacuum. Everything's tied in, everything's closed, sealed. still pulling down. That's what it's going to look like. Last thing I have to do, we're going to change out the start components and that relay. Working on the fans. They got top and bottom mounts, rear mounts, so they work pretty good. Yep. Supposedly these are somewhat submersible in water, so obviously they can take a lot of moisture. We'll see how they work. Alright, so putting the motors on, we had to put new fan blades. That's a different type of shaft. So this is a threaded with the pins coming through. So again, this is going to spin counterclockwise and push down inside the box. But with these motors, which is nice about them, we could flip this fan, and if we needed to draw, if it was drawing the return in, we could draw the return and flip the blade the opposite way and bat the air up. So, but these are, obviously going to go that way, and it's going to spin. We're going to lift here, and we're going to bat the air down here. So that's counterclockwise that we got to set these up for. Alright guys, so here's what we got. Your black and blue get tied together. Your brown and your white are your hot. So it'll sense the voltage, and the ECM will take over that, so you don't have to worry about if it's 115 or 208. These are 208, so once we tie these in, it'll pick it up. Or it could be 115. Doesn't matter, the motor itself will pick it up. It's dual voltage. So your blue is just going to hang. We'll put a little cap on that, but we're not going to use that blue at all. And that's pretty much it for the ECM motor. So all three are on. I mean, that's what they're going to look like. So again, just be careful. You're going to have to pick up new blades. If you have the set screw type blade for a smooth shaft, we have threaded shaft with the clip. Just keep that in mind when you're changing these out. Check your shafts. Alright, so got the bar in, all the fans are wired up. Went a little crazy with the tape, you could do that. I'm just thinking moisture. So anywhere there was an open on the wire, I just wrapped with tape. Same thing here. Taped it all the way up to the wire nuts, just because of the moisture factor. It's going to be thawing out, freezing, thawing out, freezing. Got the blades in, so you just want to spin them. Make sure nothing's hitting. So everything looks good. Wire tied everything on top of the bar, so the wires are hanging down. Okay. Heaters are in. Everything's wire tied, pushed up. We are holding 46 minutes and no rise. 2983. Says they won't go any further than that for whatever reason, but that's the 550s. When I called the manufacturer, said that these really the 550 doesn't go any further than what you see here. They actually want you to use an external vacuum gauge. So that's what we have. So that's tight. The system's tight and holding. Pressure switch is on, wired up. So we're just about ready to fire this thing up. I'm going to change this out right now and start components. It's a new compressor, so it's standard standard procedure. We got the new one actually comes with the compressor, so we're going to put the white one right up here and change out the start components. And my battery's dying. Alright guys, so real simple. Your power goes on 5, which is your black. If I could grab it. Okay. Your yellows, it's basically your common, going to go on 1. It's going to go on 2. So both of those yellows are going to go together. And then your start going to go right on 1, which is up top here. Okay, that's it. It's that simple. So if you look at the diagram, after start will drop out and then run will stay engaged. The way this, I don't know if you can see that little diagram. So that's the way it works. Now we'll switch out the start component here and the run component here. Alright, so here's the old start component. Okay, so 145, 174, 220 back. And here's the new one. You can see the size difference, which doesn't mean anything. And the rating is basically the same thing, a 145, 220. So this is what the manufacturer suggested to buy for it. So, little difference in size there, huh? And that's going to go right here in your common and your start. That's it. And then you're going to put all that back together and we'll be good to go. And you know, this side here is just your run side. Alright? Alright. So on the coils here, you could either use silicone or tie straps so the vibration don't rub through these cap tubes. It's to the low pressure switch, but so again, just keep these tight as possible. Anywhere where you think there's going to be a vibration or pipe hitting, put some foam tape. And we're just about ready to throw refrigerant in this 404A. We're an hour into it and no change. So everything's tight, we're good to go. Alright, so we're going to weigh this in once again. This unit takes a total of 5 pounds. It's been an hour and 13 minutes. System's tight. Clear that. Purge your line sets. And we're going to drop it in. Might hear that click. £1 pound. Got the unit running, nice and quiet, dumping in refrigerant. We're at 4 pounds, hold off there. Pressure switch is working. Gonna open it up. That was low pressure. Okay, gang. So this thing's pulling down into a vacuum. We got basically 5 pounds in the system, and pressure switch kept going off. So we changed everything out, changed the fans, and here the TXV is also bad. So I guess there's no stopping. I mean, we should have just changed everything out, but the TXV, I got it basically shut, which should put a dead plug in the system, and the head should go through the roof and go out on high head, and there's no change. No matter what I do with adjusting this TXV, nothing changes. So now this has to come out. We got to recover the refrigerant. This job just turned into a bigger job, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So this has all got to come out and then redone, and then I'm actually looking at the external equalizer, and you can see that it's not leaking, but it's right against the metal. Eventually that's going to have a rub through, but you can see how, I don't know if you can see it, but it's frosting up there. This thing's wide open and just dumping refrigerant in, so it's never going to get cold. Never. No change. You can't adjust the TXV. So now we got a bad TXV. So should have changed everything before we did it, but now this, I'm sure just in parts, we're up to like $2,600 just in parts, and it's still not finished. But this is the way real life goes out in the field. Talk to you later. Alright, gang, 2 hours later, little setback, but we got the new TXV, had to go grab it. Got him set. We just ran a new tube into the liquid side, got it out of there, because you can't work on it or really adjust it when it's inside. So the balancing port I just sealed shut. This is internal balancing, so we're going to give this one a try. So all we had to do is run a 1/4 inch liquid to the 3/8 feeder. So that's what we have, and we're going to stick the bulb right here, right on here. So once again, always, if you have the opportunity, remove the head, the power head for this TXV when you're brazing, so you don't damage it. Don't forget about your little pins there. Take them out also. They'll fall out, get dirty, whatever. But back on it. So I mean, at this point, I think a new capsule is like $4,500, but you still have the labor involved of having two guys out here installing it. But they'll get another 5 to 10 years, 10 years out of this, hopefully. So basically, on this capsule, everything here was replaced except for the condensate pan, which is stainless steel. So hopefully we have no issues with this after it's up and running. Alright guys, so back to pulling a vacuum. Got the bulb on suction right here. And for those that say it's got to be inside, you're talking 4 inches, 5 inches. It was originally here to here. It's still going to sense that cold coming back. So that's the way it's going to be. It's on the outside. There's no difference from here to here. I mean, it might be 1/8 of a degree, but that's it. So that's where we're at. We'll finish this with some Armorflex, pull the vacuum, and then fire it up again. Alright guys, so we're back. We got 4 pounds, 6 ounces in. We got the top off, so we're just checking things right now, but much better. So once again, you almost got to replace every freaking thing on these capsules. So pressures are looking pretty good. You see, I don't know if you can see it, but this is starting to frost up. Got that clicks on right there. It's got to reach below 32 for that to click these fans on. So everything's starting to frost up. I mean, this is nice and cold. Got the bulb wrapped up. Make some adjustments as we need to on this TXV. So we're going to wind up putting the top on. We're at a -7. Still no fans. So just started it up. We're about 9 ounces shy of 5 pounds here. And don't forget to adjust your high head and your low pressure. Cut in and cut out whenever you're running. We're around a 12 degree, 12 psi, and it's like set it to 50 on cut in. And you can check all that stuff. You can shut the unit down, see what your pressures rise up to, and you can adjust as you need to. Alright, we're still going here. Here's our pressures. 12 psi, mine is a 26 degree of VAP. 99, 230 on the psi on the head. So everything, if you can see that, suction line's frosted up. You're just waiting for those fans to come on. So since we cleaned that, put a new fan on, that head pressure really isn't doing too bad at all. We're at 4 pounds 10 ounces. So another like 10 minutes, those fans will be on. After that click sign closes, and this thing's ready to go. Last thing we're going to do, since we put remember that since we put new heaters in, as soon as this gets up to temp, of course we don't have it on a box. We're just, it's got to go up top there, but we need more guys to lift it. But since we put a new heaters in, we're going to burn them off, so we got to do a 45-minute burn. This way, when this goes up, customer don't smell anything. Usually we'll get a complaint of a burning smell if we don't burn these new heaters off. So just make sure you burn these heaters off after you come up to temp here, and obviously make sure they work too. All right. Alright guys, so I'm underneath, and we got fans. So, click sign closed, fans came on. Everything's blowing down like it should. So we're going the right direction with the motors. Pressures are coming up. Took that frost right off the suction line. Head pressure's coming up. It's about 80. What's about 80 degrees in there? 80, 85 degrees in this room. Alright gang, so we're never going to get a adjustment or even a good reading when you have this capsule just to the open air, because we're sucking 80 degree air in. So once we get it up top, and that's why I say we put this TXV out here, once we get it up top, be back on this Monday or Tuesday. Need 2 more guys to lift this up. But when we get back to it, now that the TXV is on the outside, we can make our adjustments when the box is almost down to temperature. So right now we're going to leave it at these pressures, sucking in 80 degrees. I mean, never going to get anywhere close to it. But I mean, that's not bad, 22 degree of that, sucking in 80 degrees. So we'll just leave it right here where we have it. When we get it up there, box starts coming down, we'll adjust it and then continue to film that, but everything looks good. Good to go.